I'm going to show you how to build your design eye. For me, I believe that this has kind of just been training for me naturally since I was a little girl because I loved magazines when I was a kid. And I actually never read the magazines for the articles, but I would go straight to the advertisements, right? The ad pages. I liked to see the products. I liked to see the photography. I liked to look at the whole design and how they did that. And so for me, since a young age, I've just always liked ads. And that is how you begin to build your design eye and how you'll begin to see what really is what's popular and what works well, right? Because a lot of these large companies, they have a budget for testing things out, for having, you know, test groups of people come in to see what they like and they don't like. And so, as you know, other companies and brands may not have that type of budget, we could still share that knowledge with them by seeing the type of ads and content that they're putting out, and that we can inspire to bring ourselves up to that level as well. So, hello, my name is Candace, and I have been a designer for 17 years now. In 2008, I started going back to college. 2012, earned my bachelor's in fine arts. Did it the traditional way, went from intern to creative director in the corporate world. 2024, got out of the corporate world, and now I am building my own creative agency. I have an amazing team and amazing clients, and I am here to help you along your creative journey. So let's get started with building your creative eye. So I just want to give a little bit of an example, like where I come from, my background. I started designing. I fell into like the Western industry, like the rodeo world. I have a, I mean, I grew up in a small town, a farm town, things like that. So I understood, but really just surface level when it came to like the NFR, the rodeo athletes, different rodeo things. I understood the basics because of where I grew up, but I wasn't really like fully like in depth with it. But I did understand good design. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is because whenever I was designing for rodeo athletes, my brain, and see this, I'm bringing this up because I had team, members in the creative department, even in the magazine world too, that I had to kind of help them, like, don't put your mind in like the Hollywood Western or rodeo where it's very like yeehaw and just very um I guess, how do I explain it? It's just cliche or even cheesy a little bit. And so to help them get out of that, I would tell them to, look up um, football teams, look up basketball teams, look up that type of graphics and design because to me, we are creating for an athlete, like a major athlete. And so, hence, this is kind of why I have Under Armour here and then also Nike. So, these are like two places that I would go to kind of see, like, okay, what is Nike doing when it comes to like their athletes, things like that. So ideas like this, right? Um, Photography like this. And I did want to show you something which I thought was pretty cool because I was kind of looking at a few of these things before and I thought this is exactly what I'm talking about because you can begin to see like when you're studying these higher brands, you can begin to see like different styles that almost kind of are not the same, but like you can see like the formula. So, for example, like the photography here, very outside, very lifestyle. So Under Armour is doing the same thing. The outside lifestyle, you can almost see like the same type of like edit, right? Like how they're editing it. Like this is kind of very warm in color, and then like her image is a little bit warm too, or even like these backgrounds have like a warm tint to them. So you can see like how they edited that. Let's look at, so their product photography is more on white, but it is still like that just plain background when it comes to just the product photo. Let's see. Yeah, Wrangler, same thing. Warm, that very warm, image. I'm not really surprised with these two brands though, because they are kind of like both in the Western world. Let's look between, so Nike has that lifestyle look. And then you could see, let's go back to the front where the young man was. It looked like he was like surrounded with kind of like a cement type of, let's go here. Yeah, see, that's very filtered, but still warm. Yeah. See how like there's like this cement brick wall, and then I kind of saw that a little bit here too. Yeah, like he's behind like a cement brick wall. So yeah, these photos are very, they have filters on them. So that's the style right now. And so that's something that you could lean into for what you're designing, and what you're doing is having that sort of filter on the photography. You can see the filters. Like there's even like grain. You can see that they're grainy photos. And I think, yeah, right here you can see like they've got a definite filter on top. So this is happening between one, two. There's a filter, not so much grainy though, but two. Highly filtered photos too. So there's definitely filters on everything. Okay, so these are more are like clothing, things like that. Let's look at Coach and see like what they're doing. I think that's, well, I mean, there you go, grain. There's grain on this photo as well. Highly filtered. Highly filtered. We have that city. Let's look at, okay, there you go. You saw that photo of the gentleman um, with the filter. It's definitely definitely a filter. So filters are popular right now. So that's something that you could do for your photos, and because again, um, you're leaning into that because that's what is people are, so people are now being trained, right? Audiences are being trained through these higher level brands that this is, at this is what things look at this level. So then when you, for either yourself or brands that you're helping, if you're own a creative service, when you start doing that, you're putting them in like that level. I wanted to talk a little bit about book covers just because I've been doing some like editorial work and help with clients. And this is where I tell them to go. I tell them to go to Barnes and Noble. I guess you could also tell them like Books a Million, and have them look at different types of covers that are, top sellers, best sellers, things like this. And this can help you as a creative kind of get ideas of how you should create covers that are selling. I know yellow is a really good color to use for a cover because it's again what we're trained right? Like when we see yellow, it's like a warning. So it kind of makes us stop and like look. So you can see that here. Yellow is a good color to put on a cover. Yeah, so training the design eye. Again, it's literally going and looking at, I would say, successful brands, looking at successful um, companies and businesses that, depending on what environment that you are designing for, if you are an editorial designer, then going and looking at maybe Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, looking at covers here to get some inspiration and to put your client's book in that, that level of design. And then also to, like I said, somebody like me who, when I was in the corporate world, I was working for rodeo athletes. I didn't do anything cheesy or Hollywood-ish, but I actually went and studied, you know, football teams, big football teams, big basketball teams, things like that. Studied Under Armour, Nike, athletic, high-end athletic, areas, so that whenever I designed for these rodeo athletes, I put them in that visual feel. So if somebody was watching football and saw a certain type of design, styles and elements and graphics that were used, and then they went and looked at the brand that I was working with, and looked at that style, that was the same. To them, it's like, oh, they've kind of have this style like this football team that I follow. They've got to be that same level, right? So, and that's not something that they like are fully thinking out, but like that's what we're telling their brain. So, anywho, I hope this helped you. I know for me as a graphic designer of 17 years, I still research to this day, because design changes so much, and in the marketing world, everything just changes so quickly. So I'm constantly, that's the first thing I do before I start creating and designing is I do research in the environment that this, or that I want this creative asset to live in. So that is my tip for you today as a creative out here working on your design eye. And I hope that helped. If you are ever needing any other additional help, go ahead and subscribe and like this video so I know that I should make more of videos like this. And you can go to my website, www.candicedmadrid.com, and I have some resources there, and then a way that you can connect with me. I have a community in there too, that if you ever have any questions, that is a great place to ask me questions. All right. See you later. Bye.